Hey guys, it's Sam from Elvis Duran in the Morning Show, and I am here with iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. And today we get to peek into the world of Beetlejuice. Okay, we're going to be riding with Rob McClure, Carrie Butler, and Leslie Kritzer. These guys are Broadway legends, and we get to stay with them in a really cozy car and pick their brains for, I don't know, the next 20 minutes to 2.5 hours, whatever works out. Come on, you're definitely going to want to see in here. All right, we have successfully picked up our players for today. Thank you, my Beetlejuice trio. It's doing so
We're having so
well.
much fun.
Do you
We're
guys
having a
feel
blast.
as much of a difference between now and back in the spring when I saw you?
I feel like the biggest difference is our audience.
Yes.
Like, I mean, our halls are covered with fan art.
It's
Everyone
amazing.
comes dressed up in costume.
Yeah. I've never been part of a show with the fan art.
No, the fan art is insane.
unbelievable.
And it's constant on social media and being sent to the theater. When we go outside to sign playbills, they constantly have stuff for us all the time. Someone just made a Beetlejuice necktie for Alex Brightman, who plays Beetlejuice's dog. He got a new dog, and now people are making things for his dog.
I was like, oh, so cute. And then when you said dog, I'm like, that's amazing.
Yes,
I
exactly.
know.
That's so great.
I know.
Yeah.
So
People
have
love
you
it.
guys felt any kind of development in your character since then? Have you changed things up, or do you feel like things are constantly rolling? Like,
I mean, I feel like relationships deepen
Yes.
as
Yeah.
you get closer
just
to the
happens
person for
naturally.
real life.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but I don't think, it's not our job to really reinvent much. It's our job to like make it fresh every time.
Yeah.
But do the directed performance, But it does deepen. You can't help it
Yes.
because you get closer and closer to these people, and
Yeah. It's
the,
like
the
second
relationships
nature.
get richer and the comedy gets cleaner, and
Yeah.
as you start realizing what the timing, what the comic, where the exact bullseye of the comic timing is, you get to nuance it over time.
gotcha.
Totally. I mean, there's things like when you're like, wait 1 minute. Like there's sometimes where he gets a laugh right away, and then there's sometimes you get it in the second part.
Yeah, gotta surf
Which
it.
is, and sometimes you get it both, but he surfs it. Rob surfs his thing so well. It's like, I love watching that moment
All
every
of
night.
us, yeah.
Because it's just like, that's evolved over time, and we adjust, like all the things. Sometimes we'll get laughs, sometimes we won't, but pretty much it's consistent.
Yeah.
And our audience is like, now that, because we have a following,
The secret's out.
Yeah.
they know, they're coming, and they know. And so like,
They come to party.
Yeah.
these
As
guys
soon
get
as it starts,
entrance
too.
applause when they come out the
Yeah.
mailings. It's like, and as soon as they come out, they get applause. Like,
Well,
it's really
The
exciting.
theater sets up for that because I remember walking in, you're
Yes.
kind of in Beetlejuice
Well, that's the
world.
Yes.
thing. Alex Timbers is like so good at creating a world. The moment you walk into the theater, he directed Moulin Rouge as well.
Which is another world.
And both of those
Totally.
shows, the second you walk through the front door, you're like, oh, I'm somewhere else now.
Yeah.
He's really good at that.
Absolutely incredible. So do you guys have things that you kind of do before a show? Do you have any ritual that helps get you ready
Oh,
for
well,
the day?
I do think, I just do like warm-ups and physical warm-ups because
Right.
we're on a race stage, so we have to like really take care of our bodies. But Rob has a funny.
I run the
Yes.
seats like a sports stadium.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, can you do that again?
It sounds a lot harder than it is, but I start down by the stage and I run every row and I stick my hand out and I like touch every seat. And I run up to the top, do a little vocal warm up, and I run back down. It takes maybe 15 minutes here. And it's just good to get like, I'm one of those people who like the warmer the body, the warmer the voice.
Okay.
My voice doesn't warm up unless my body's warm.
Gotcha.
So that just helps me. And it like connects me to the room, and I get to like, it also helps me know where the seat numbers are, so I can tell stage management, hey, the person in C112 is filming.
Oh my God.
And then they can go take their
True.
phone during
It's
intermission.
true.
You got like this Mr. Miyagi connection.
I know the
entire-
grid now, baby. You can't hide from me.
I'm now suddenly petrified.
That's true.
That has to be one of my favorite ones I've heard so far. That is very
That's
interesting.
it. The guy in H3, second seat in the left section,
God, that
he's
guy.
filming.
Shame
Take
on
that
him.
phone, erase it during intermission. We can see you. We can see
And during
you.
the show, we even go, we're like, oh, second row,
Yep.
third row.
Yep.
You guys have your little moments.
the
where you
worst.
Oh, it's
communicate
the
on
worst. So,
stage?
like, if
It's
we'll
the
have,
worst.
yeah, it's the worst. But we'll be like, the second row, center row, aisle. Like, we can do that,
And
and
they
you
think
wouldn't even
they're-
know we're doing it.
No.
But
And they think they're sneaky. I'm just holding my camera by my shoulder. Well, I see you.
And you they move it back just a titch so you
Yeah.
see the light on their face.
It's
Yes.
like people can't control themselves
I
because
know.
they're attached.
I know.
It's like, no, this is a place where
It's live.
Can I
Live.
silver lining it and just say
Yeah.
it's because what you guys are doing is so
Yes.
good
That's
they
very
can't
sweet.
handle to not
And at the
remember it
finale
further?
with the bows, they
Yeah.
take them out, and that's
Yeah.
fun.
That's
and
awesome.
they
Right.
put that
Show's
all over the
over, go
internet.
ahead.
And
Yeah.
yeah, which
So,
is great.
do you have a ritual?
My thing is I don't go on till almost, I've been starting to track it, like almost half an hour after 20, 25 minutes.
Okay.
Until the show starts. So I have a long time. I get to the show really early, which puts me in the building. I like being there, being around people,
Right.
talking to people. But I warm up, but I don't do too much because I don't like to think about it too much. Once, like 10 minutes before, I probably start like getting dressed. For me is kind of the way I get into it. I put the wig is on. It's such a kooky character. So once I put that outfit on, then I'm ready to go. And
Gotcha.
it's kind of, I snap into it now pretty easy. But the warming up now, especially as we get older, it doesn't just pop out the way it used to. So
I like that.
Oh, I know another crazy thing me and Rob do. We have this
Oh.
machine that
Oh, yes.
right before the show, you put like water and salt water and it sucks all the mucus out of you.
And
It's-
like
You guys should be
battery
It's called-
spokespeople.
It's crazy. It's like
It's called the Navage. We're
I'm
willing to
getting
be
one.
sponsored.
I want to get one.
And it literally like pumps water gently, but in
unbelievable.
one
It's
nostril
intense.
and like suctions out the other. So
Sounds
if you've got
horrifying.
any like sinusy things going on,
It'll just clear you right
just
out.
clears it out.
I need to get
we
one.
do that before every
especially.
show.
It's nasty, but it
Together.
helps.
it's bonding.
It's bonding time. Actually, I
Hold
hold
hands.
I hold hers and she holds mine.
You guys got it together, and it was very cute.
Yeah.
Very Adam
Yeah,
and
it's
Barbara.
a very
What a
Maitland
nice
product.
mister this is. So what expectations did you guys have when you heard Beetlejuice was being turned into a musical? I mean, the movie itself is such a legacy. It has a cult following.
Yes.
And then it's going to be reborn. Like, what did you guys think going in?
I was a huge fan. I am a huge fan of the movie. I have like home movies of me doing the Deo dance in my kitchen
that's
when I
a
was
big
like
fan.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
I know every word of the movie. So my first instinct, and I think it was the similar instinct for the fans, was, oh, don't break it. Please don't break it. Like we love this thing. Don't break it.
Right.
And luckily, Alex Timbers, our director, and the writers, Anthony King and Scott Brown, are just as big fans of the film as I was, and were so smart in how they adapted it, because the fans get everything they crave from the movie. There's just a deepening of the material that is really great, and it stays so true to the original tone and the Tim Burton vibe and visuals and what Timbers did with David Corns. They really honor the film in a way that there has not been a single Beetlejuice fan who at the stage door was like, I wish you had. They're all like so profoundly satisfied. It's great.
Yeah,
I
they
feel like
loved
it has all of the parts that you'd want, but it's still a completely different experience.
Yeah.
It's almost a different story. That doesn't make sense if you haven't seen it, but it's almost a different story entirely.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel is something you want to convey to people just starting out? Because this is one of the first times I've had a car with everyone so experienced. Like I have 3 very important Broadway people in here. This car is very safe for that exact reason. But what do you want to say to people who are just starting out, who are just in awe looking at the 3 of you?
I would say, like, love performing, do it wherever you can for free, perform as much as you can, and don't take rejection personally. Like, embrace what's special about you, because that's what's going to make you different from everybody else.
Right.
And we all get rejected every day, and
Whew.
we
Every
have
day.
to
Oh,
still,
Lord.
and so we have to just like let it roll off our back and just trust our talent and trust what we do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So to go from that, for people starting out, to today, what drives each of you individually? Whether it be for a particular show or just in your whole career, however you want to take that, what do you feel drives you?
I think it's just that we love it so much. Like, I
Yeah.
love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
Do you have a thought if you were to do something else?
I'd probably be either a social worker or a pre-kindergarten teacher.
You have so much patience just from that answer. You're a
I don't
very
know
patient
anyone else like
person.
Carrie Butler. She's
No,
amazing.
Carrie Butler is a
She
singular being.
Truly.
My goodness.
She is. And she'd be great at both of them. And she probably could do both at the same time.
Right? Like just in between the hour and a half you have between shows.
Yeah, while she's growing her
While
own
she's-
vegetables in her
Garden
dressing.
in her dressing.
She makes her own salad. She makes
yes,
her
there's
own
salad.
I do.
You
in my
make
dressing
your
From
own
the-
salad because from the
Yes.
vegetables you've grown.
in her
Yes.
dressing. She doesn't leave her dressing room during the break because she made her food.
It's true.
My God, woman, I seem less like
Unbelievable.
crazy. You're making me feel so
I still do
bad.
that. but-
There's basil, right, growing in there?
Oh, I have
Tomatoes.
lots of
Basil,
stuff.
yes, it's got-
lettuce.
Arugula, lettuce, tomatoes.
It's her positivity, though, that
See?
helps. Because
I
plants
know.
do grow because you talk to them.
See,
Her
okay,
training
And I
in Little
sing to
Shop.
them.
everything's coming in a full circle for you.
And she's
Exactly.
gorgeous. She's doing something right.
Radiating.
See?
Yeah.
Your cheeks are all the way up right now, and I love it. So, what about the two of you? Do you have a different answer with what drives you? Or?
I mean, for me, I think right now the thing that drives me a lot. Well, first of all, I have a 9-month-old daughter, so like,
so cute.
just paying the bills for the baby is like
Dad
drive
mode.
enough, dad mode. But also, I think without getting too soapboxy about it, but like I think what we do is actually really important. Like the ability to, we're professionals at putting ourselves in other people's shoes. That's literally what we do for a living, is we put ourselves in other people's shoes.
Yeah.
And I just think that's a really valuable skill in a less tolerant environment at the moment. Like the ability to go like, what would it be like to be someone else? And we do that every day. So that drives me, the idea of like getting inside someone else's head, whether it be the villain or the good guy, but getting inside their head and exploring what it's like to be them, I think is a really underappreciated skill, and it really is the basis of what we do. And I think it's part of the reason why the actors in general tend to be really accepting people. It tends to be a really accepting environment because we're
yes.
people who are every day putting ourselves in someone else's perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. You kind of have to exist as a bunch of different people.
Yes.
So you've been as many people as you physically can
Yes.
Yeah, well, just getting inside their head, right?
Yeah.
So I think we don't stop doing that when we're working.
Right.
You know what I mean? When we get outside of work. So the idea of attacking someone or bringing someone down, that mode in our brain goes, oh, what are they thinking? What drives them? What's their deal? Because that's our.
What motivates people?
What's
What makes people
what's their
do
deal?
things?
What's the
Right.
what makes them tick? And I think
Right.
it's just because we're in that mode so often that we tend to be more empathetic. That really drives me.
So I feel like empathy and compassion are things you guys have to carry
Yeah.
with you all the time.
I think so.
Because we study people. I
Right.
mean, that's
Truly,
kind of what
yeah.
we do. We study people so we can see all the sides. I mean, I think what drives me, I mean, aside from paying the bills and all that stuff.
It's a real answer.
It's
yeah.
it is a real answer, and we all have been in the business a while, and we're blessed to be successful and to do what we do. It's kind of, my husband always says, it's like a miracle that we have gotten. It's out of all the people.
Yes.
You have those stats. Remember, you used to tell me all those
Yes.
stats of all the people that come to New York, and the amount of people, and how many. There's 42 Broadway theaters, 40 maybe. We're one of that, maybe 0.5% or whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So. But what really
Gratitude, yeah.
Seriously, what drives me is, I really don't do anything else, and I love making people happy. I love doing what theater does, and what we give to people is so great. I mean, it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's almost overwhelming when we get these letters and when we talk to people and they're so happy. And like Rob said, to just piggyback, we're in a kind of a state of the world where everything is so uncertain. So to be able to go somewhere and know that at least, I mean, I'm not, curing cancer, but I'm definitely making people happy and making them laugh. And so right now, for me, going to work and feeling like I'm doing something that I can actually control is pretty great.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. And
Yeah.
to be part of this show and to be with these people, I'm also learning a lot. I'm learning from
Constantly.
my castmates, about myself. That's what also this sort of kind of work does. You're constantly learning. And the show, I don't know about you guys, the show lines up sometimes exactly what I need in my life.
Uh-huh.
Each show is like different.
Yes, I always say I get the parts that I'm meant to get to learn
Exactly.
something from
Yeah,
that person.
totally.
So it's very
Okay.
cool. Very, very cool.
So
See, we're learning.
gravitating.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
What you guys do is demanding physically, mentally, your sleep schedule, your social lives,
Yeah.
your family. How do you take care of yourselves in a selfish way? What's your balance?
I feel like you find your routine by failing first, right? Like you
Yeah.
find out what you can't do, and then you go like, oh, cut that out, cut
Yeah.
this out, cut, like stupid things like, oh, I can't eat a big meal after the show if I want to go right to bed, or else I'll get reflux, and then my voice will be shot in the morning. Like, you just learn by making mistakes over 20 years of doing this, or however long, right? And then I think everyone's really personal what their self-care is.
Yeah.
But it's trial and error mostly.
It's so trial and error, and even within the show, I find myself failing all the time. I'm like, oh, I can't eat that before, but I knew that, but I wanted it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wanted
To
it.
suppress the voice.
It was a
Yeah.
birthday club day. I wanted that piece of cake, and now during Argentina, I am paying for it.
But water
So-
and sleep tend to be
Water.
for
Yeah,
for
sleep.
everybody, right?
Yeah.
Water and
Yeah,
sleep.
I have 2 kids, and so
You don't sleep then.
yeah, it was hard. My husband was away when we were in tech and everything,
yeah.
and it was rough because
Yeah.
I was just like, my mind just couldn't like focus. I was starting to like forget lines and stuff like that. Sleep is important.
Yeah.
God, to put it on a slightly lighter note than we've been, has there been anything on stage that, you wish the audience didn't get a peek of?
I don't think part of what we do is
gotta find wood to
is
knock on.
find it. A part of the skill is hiding those moments from the audience. They happen all the
Yeah,
time.
All the time.
Yeah.
You won't even know.
But part of the skill set is then receiving the thing that's gone wrong in a way that spins it into making the audience go, oh, that's part of it. And that's our brains are constantly in that mode whenever something goes wrong. It's like silly things like last night. Lydia has her famous suicide note from the movie I Am Utterly Alone. And Beetlejuice is supposed to get rid of it, and it fell, and it was sitting on the stage. And our stage manager was like, hey, the suicide note's on the stage. It's not supposed to be there. Could you pick it up during the scene? And in my mind, I was like, yes, of course. And then I was like, oh, wait. But then is the audience going to think that Adam read her suicide note? That's not
The
part of
plot
things.
thickens.
I don't want to. So literally, I'm like looking for moments where I can get it without the audience seeing me get it, because I don't want to
Right.
throw a weird plot twist in
Yeah.
there.
He knew the whole time.
Exactly. So your brain is like, you're doing this multitasking where you're
Right.
like, one foot is in the reality of the play and another
Right.
foot is very much in Rob, going like, how can I pick this thing up?
And it's kind of second nature to you guys at this point, though.
Yeah, that multitasking, yeah.
Cover it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite part of the show that is not your own characters? Something you observe your friends doing? Whether it be a joke that's underappreciated, because I love when those happen.
What happens when they say Beetlejuice, when they finally say Beetlejuice 3 times? I wish I was on stage for it, because it's crazy.
Are you guys not?
No.
Because we're facing down, so I don't know if you're
Wait, we're
on
on
the
stage.
No, but the real explosion.
oh.
You know what I
The
mean?
real
Like
one.
when, we can't give it away, but when Beetlejuice is finally sort of unleashed
Yeah.
on the people in the house,
Oh, I see what you're
it's a crazy
Oh, that's right.
theatrical moment,
Yes.
and I wish I was on stage to play during that. That's mine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
I still am in the dressing room. I still laugh when Rob's like, yeah, okay, we're dead. That's bad, but because I'll never forget, like, we always ask each other about bits and like jokes, like, oh, was this funnier than this, or what do you think I should, what do you think, whatever, for months. I mean, this is the kind of group we're in. And he's like, well, what do you think if I do this on that line or whatever? And I was like, oh yeah, that's
Just
funny.
put the pause here. Put the
Yeah.
pause here.
And now when I'm in the dressing room and you say that, because I'm getting dressed to come down at that point, it's just
it still gets you. What do you guys do when you have a rare occasion of so many hours to burn?
I always go to the beach with my kids. I'm definitely doing something with my kids. Always something fun.
Yeah. Is your family close?
They're in the city, but for the summer we were in the Jersey Shore. Yes. Yeah, so it was awesome.
Jersey.
Yep.
Jersey.
Sorry, can't take it ever, girl.
No,
Listen,
same
me
here.
either.
Jersey.
Jersey.
Okay, good. We're in a safe place.
Yeah.
Not matter. What about you guys?
Baby time for sure, and my wife Maggie. I spend the day usually with them, and then most Mondays, like by around 8:30, we can put the baby to sleep, and then we have a group of friends who we play board games with. We have game night, so we have our weekly game night.
Really? You guys do that every Monday?
Mm-hmm.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
You guys like pleasantly competitive, or are
Yeah.
things said that
No,
shouldn't be said about?
definitely pleasantly competitive. And our friend, we have a lot of, like, one of our best friends in the whole world is this guy named Will Faust, and he's like a total non-theater person. And I love having like friends outside of what we do, because they're really good to sort of keep your head screwed on about like the rest of the world, because it's easy to like stay insular. But having someone like him who's just like, he'll come see us in a show, and it doesn't matter what the show is. He's like, that was awesome. And you're like, oh yeah. And you're like expecting to talk about the show. And he's like, it was great. Why would anybody not enjoy themselves? Like, I wasn't working today. Like, in his mind, it's like the act of going to a show, I already have decided that I love it because I'm not.
I know.
Because it's recreational.
Right.
Why would I not enjoy it?
Right.
And it's like,
Real
oh,
great perspective.
that's
love
what
that.
it's supposed to be. Like,
Yeah,
you're
I
supposed.
forgot.
Yes, exactly. You're going to do something fun.
I mean, I try, like we were talking about before, I try to, especially doing this show, it's hard because a lot of times people ask us to do things on a
Yes.
night off, and with this show so far, for the most part, I have said no, because it's too hard. I never, my husband's also in the industry. We don't get to see each other a lot. So we'll have date nights on Monday night. We're always watching. We're into Succession right now.
Me too.
I'm so into it. I can't stop watching it. I actually cheated and watched 2 episodes ahead, and so we caught up last night. I still watched it with him. But we come together, we'll make dinner, we have friends. We live out in Jersey, and so like, one night off we had friends over, sat on the porch. It was really nice. But yeah, I personally need decompress time, because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on so much during the week that my brain needs just to kind of like level out. And my body too. But, laundry has to get done. I mean, there's
Truly.
stuff that we got to do. So,
True.
errands and that stuff. But it's important. That day off is
Right.
with this show, it's become sacred.
And is there any difference in this experience? I mean, I know there's a difference from every show to show, but something so special that you're just going to carry with you for the rest of your lives from this show?
For me, I think it's the musical really explores the parental nature of Adam and Barbara with Lydia, and how to be sort of an attentive and a tender, sort of loving parent to somebody going through something. And I think that was really unexpected, because in the movie, Lydia's sort of like dark goth sensibility brings a lot of comedy to the movie. But what the movie doesn't explore is what's her deal? Why is she struggling so much? What is she upset about? And the musical very much explores that. So for me, it's like raising a daughter.
Oh, this timing's perfect.
There's like
Right.
I know I will for sure keep some of the like the sort of tenderness that they've written into the way Adam and Barbara deal with her. Like we said, like Adam totally taught me some stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so lovely. What about you?
Well, so Barbara is just so positive, and it's like when you get apart, sometimes if it's like a really dark character, that kind of gets inside you.
Sure.
Doing it 8 times a week, and so Barbara is just so positive and all this stuff. Like, I was never that into gardening, but Barbara used to be.
Oh my God, Barbara
really-
turned Carrie into a gardener.
Yeah.
did.
Actually,
she used
though.
to be really into gardening, and so then that like sunk into me, and now I'm so into gardening.
You really are.
You brought a gift of life with you.
Yes.
Forever. Leslie, what about you?
It's funny because one thing is also I'm taking a vacation, and funny enough, the place that I want to go is Sedona, Arizona, which is so spiritual, crystals, rocks, very vortexes, which is exactly where Delia
Delia's
would
vacation.
go.
Oh, for sure.
And it didn't hit me until like a week ago that I was like, oh my God.
I'm taking a Delia.
I've always wanted to go to the desert. So that's one thing I just think is hilarious
That's
and very
amazing.
similar. I also think just the positivity thing, and also the strength of, like, with Argentina and Delia. Delia is very positive, loving, but also Argentina is so ferocious and confident. I think that ebb and flow I want
Right.
to take with me. And then, this show for kids, we get so many letters from kids that are going through things right now, young people
It's amazing.
that are dealing with things that when we were growing up, on a different level now because of social media and all these other things. I am definitely going to take with me. It's really touched me to be able to write to these kids or talk to them outside or whatever, and to make them feel good. In the show, like you said with Lydia, also feel that they have someone's hearing them,
Right.
and that people care. And so I think that's really been rewarding for me to be able to know that they've been touched in some way by what we're doing collectively.
And we never could have seen it coming, right? We're
No.
doing Beetlejuice.
Right. Like,
You know what I
that'll
mean?
be fun.
But we really didn't. I will say, we
didn't.
We did not set out to have a hard-hitting message. We really didn't. But because the story is so beautifully told, it's resonating in a way that none of us could have imagined. And I think that's part of what is contributing to its success, is that there are people who are coming to the stage door saying, like, the whole, like, live while you're alive message hit me. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know we were sending that out, but it's working, which is really amazing.
And we can learn from young people too.
Yeah.
Like, all of our characters, Lydia teaches us something, and we learn too. And so these young people out there are going, oh wow, someone hears us, and we do have a voice too, and what we're saying is important. And it's really special.
It's awesome.
And you're absolutely right. We had no idea. We never saw that coming.
It's clearly funny. It's packed. It's hilarious. It's very meaningful. And this has been a really great time. Leslie, Rob, Carrie, thank you.
Thank you
much
so
for
much
spending
for
your
having
time.
us.
This has been another episode of Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. It feels so fancy.
I know, right?
Car?
Yeah, sure. Gifted first.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.